Good morning, dear students. So today is 5th December 2020, and for the BA semester 5th economics students, for the paper of research methodology, today I have to deal with the topic of objectivity and subjectivity. So students, as per syllabus, this is the last topic of the third unit, and as you know that earlier I have already told you in the research methodology paper about the various terminology related to research methods, and that terminology in the undergraduate level you have to learn, you have to remember, and then only in the coming years, in the near future, you can apply it for the research purpose. So students, today you have to learn about the term what is objective and what is subjective research, that is objectivity and subjectivity. So let's start with the meaning of this. Students, subjective information or writing is based on personal opinions, interpretations, points of view, emotions, and judgment. It is often considered ill-suited for scenarios like news reporting or decision making in business or politics. So very carefully you have to first understand the meaning of subjective information. And students, in research methodology or research method, every information is your data. That means every knowledge, information, experience could be converted into your data when you will deal with the research. So this is how subjective information is. And then when you come to objective information, that is objectivity, the objective information or analysis is fact-based, measurable, and observable. And this is scientific approach, fact-based. So both have different meaning but different aspects. And both the research method terminologies are important in the while you are going for the research work or tracing of any economics or social problems. So this is how first you have to tell about the meaning of subjective information and objective information. Then students, we have to deal with certain definition also, because in examination when there will be question regarding this, you have to write the meaning and also certain definition about these two terms. So first tell the definition of objective. This is a statement that is completely unbiased. It is not touched by the speaker's or researcher's previous experience or tests. It is verifiable by looking up facts or performing mathematical calculations. This is how objectivity is. Earlier I told you this is more scientific. And then when we come to subjective definition, subjective is a statement that has been colored by the character of the speaker or researcher or writer. If often has a basis in reality but reflects the perspective through which the speakers view reality, it cannot be verified using concrete facts and figures. So basic two difference between the definition of objectivity and subjectivity. And students, when you have to give certain examples regarding this, you can see regarding objective example, this is the scientific facts are objectives as are mathematical proofs, essentially anything that can be backed up with the solid data. So this is one example that should be that should have a mathematical proofs and solid data. And subjective examples when you have to give, then this is the opinions, interpretations, and any type of marketing presentations are all subjective. So while dealing with this topic, you have to write about the meaning, certain definition, and certain examples. And students, then when we move to the philosophical approach, we may say that any philosophical issues concern questions of objectivity and subjectivity. And of these questions, there are two kinds. The first considers whether something is objective or subjective. We may call questions of applications. And the second, what is means for something to be objective or subjective, questions that inquire as to the very essence of objectivity and subjectivity. And we may call this second kind questions of constitution. So first is questions of application and second is questions of constitution. So from application to constitution is the move behind this philosophical approach of subjectivity and objectivity. And student, the researcher views are also very much important, because subjectivity guides everything from the choice of topic that one studies, to formulating hypotheses, to selecting methodologies and interpreting data. And in qualitative methodology, I earlier told you in the previous classes, the researcher is encouraged to reflect on the values and objectives he or she brings to his research and how this affects the research projects. So, regarding the researcher view, this is also very much important. And if you deal with the key issues in these two aspects, then we may start by saying that the key issues arises with the recognition of subjectivity is how it affects objectivity. Two positions have been articulated. Many qualitative researchers counterpoise subjectivity and objectivity. Objectivity is said to negate subjectivity since it renders the observer a passive recipient of external information devoid of agency. And the researcher's subjectivity is said to negate the possibility of objectivity, knowing a social psychological world. So students, from this, when we have to search about the different paradigm, or we may say, as per your syllabus, different questions regarding subjectivity and objectivity, you understand by these points. First is, you have to think from what to why. And this is a basic question. You have to not stick yourself only up to what, but you have to move from what to why. केवल वस्तुस्थिति को देखिए और उससे आप सशंकित हो जाइए, उससे आप पीड़ित हो जाइए, उसको आप चित्रित कर दीजिए, यही रिसर्च नहीं है, बल्कि उस परिस्थिति का निदान करने के लिए आप सोचिए कि क्यों ऐसी परिस्थिति बनी है, क्यों किसान आंदोलन कर रहे हैं, क्यों किसान गांव छोड़ के शहरों में आए हैं. तो केवल किसान के आंदोलन के उस रूप को मत देखिए कि रोड बाधित हो रही है, बल्कि सोचिए कि क्यों किसान आए हैं, तब जाके आप किसानों के पक्ष में या किसानों के हित में कोई निर्णय ले पाएंगे. सो फ्रॉम व्हाट टू व्हाई. सेकेंड, फ्रॉम रिस्पॉन्सेज टू मीनिंग्स. केवल रिस्पॉन्स मत दीजिए कि अरे रोड बाधित हो गया, ये क्या हो रहा है, नहीं, मीनिंग्स, क्यों बाधित हुआ है, अर्थ, उसका अर्थ क्या है, क्योंकि किसान मजबूर हैं और सरकार पर दबाव डाल रहे हैं, क्योंकि यही मौका है जब किसान के हित में कोई फैसला लिया जा सकता है. तो फ्रॉम रिस्पॉन्सेज टू मीनिंग्स. एंड फ्रॉम एक्सपेरिमेंटल, दैट इज सब्जेक्ट्स टू सब्जेक्टिविटीज. केवल आप सब्जेक्ट मत देखिए, बल्कि उसके सब्जेक्टिविटीज को भी देखिए, थ्रू योर एक्सपेरिमेंट, थ्रू योर क्वेश्चनायर, थ्रू योर रीजनिंग, थ्रू योर चॉइस, थ्रू योर इंटरप्रिटेशन. And next, then, very important is from statistical patterns to rich description. Don't rely on only statistical pattern or mathematical calculation. Don't count farmers who are sitting and surrounding the New Delhi. Don't count that this is 1 lakh, this is 2 lakh. Don't give statistics of that farmers. But you describe which type of farmers are there, from where they come, who are the marginal farmers, who are the rich farmers, who are the beneficiary, who are the loser. you have to describe each and every steps. So this is how the paradigms changes. And from scientism to humanism, your approach is not stick only to the facts or data based, but you have to deal with the humanism approach. Then only you can do a rich research regarding the solution approach. So from scientism to humanism, and the students, varieties of non-mechanist interpretations of human activities. Some qualitative models are also anti-humanist. So there are many theories, there are many approaches. Actually, they are unhuman. As per you can see in this pandemic, globalization has been failed. Market economy is failed. Now everyone is talking about the welfare of the humanity. Everybody is talking of the vaccine. Everybody is talking of the healthcare system. Everyone is talking of the coming environmental degradation problem. So many earlier theories also fail. So you have to think in this different paradigm. And students, reworking criteria for rigor in qualitative research may be said that not replicability, reliability or generalization. So developing a new vocabulary for quality in qualitative research is the need of the hour. So students, we have to focus on our research. Focus on research as an interpretive practices. Assumes that our words are productive of meanings and practices rather than merely reflection this. From problems to resources. हमारे यहाँ क्या होता है आज तक, या बहुत रिसर्चर ये करते हैं कि क्वांटिटेटिव अप्रोच करते हैं, पॉजिटिज्म करते हैं, साइंटिफिक मेथड अप्रोच करते हैं, डाटा का कलेक्शन करते हैं, फैक्ट्स बोल देते हैं और केवल समस्या बता देते हैं. They don't move from problem to resources. But our approach should be from problems to resources. अगर आप समस्या बता रहे हो तो आपको निदान भी बताना होगा. क्यों पूर्वी उत्तर प्रदेश पश्चिम से पिछड़ा है? क्योंकि हमारे समस्याएं क्या हैं कि हम पूर्वी उत्तर प्रदेश में ह्यूमन को स्किल नहीं कर पाए, एंटरप्रेन्योर नहीं बना पाए और अपने रूरल वेल्थ को हम एक्सप्लोर नहीं कर पाए. तो हम अपने रिसोर्सेज को एक्सप्लोर करेंगे तभी हम प्रॉब्लम से निजात पाएंगे और पूर्वी उत्तर प्रदेश विकसित होगा. So students, this is the way you have to think, and knowing what level of complexity is right for your research questions. So students, when you have to reformulate your objectivity as a form of subjectivity, all knowledge is generated from partial perspective and has effects. There is a no God's eye view or no omnipresent or omniscient, but you have to effort yours. This means that we have to find ways to work with subjectivity to understand its role and impact rather than pretend it is not there. एग्जाम्पल के लिए हम चलते चलते इस बात को जिक्र कर दे कि किसान 70 वर्षों से ऐसे ही था, पिछड़ा था, वो एमएसपी के भरोसे था, उसकी सामाजिक सुरक्षा हो नहीं रही थी, वो सिक्योर नहीं था. किसान फार्मर्स के सुसाइड की घटनाएं हम लोगों ने कई वर्षों से सुना है, देखा है. गरीबी है, उसकी वजह से पुश फैक्टर की वजह से माइग्रेशन की भी समस्या होती है. ये सारी समस्याओं का निदान कैसे होगा? जब तक किसानों की आय दुगनी नहीं होगी, जब तक वो कैश क्रॉपिंग नहीं करेंगी, जब तक उनको उद्योगों की तरह दर्जा नहीं मिलेगा. इसीलिए ये बिल किसानों के लिए आया था. लेकिन जो भ्रम है वो भ्रम एक ऑब्जेक्टिविटी से है. उस भ्रम में सब्जेक्टिविटी अगर हम जोड़ देंगे, किसानों को समझा देंगे, उनके हित की बात करेंगे, जो शायद आज फार्मूला में तय भी हो जाएगा, तो हम सही मायने में भारत में किसानों की समस्या को दूर कर देंगे. सो थैंक यू स्टूडेंट्स and take care of yourself.